Welcome, everyone. I'm Amy Seeley, president of Seeley Test Pros and LEAP, helping students to succeed in all kinds of tests from 8th grade to grad school throughout Ohio.
And I'm Mike Bergen, president of Chariot Learning, helping students with test school and life based out of Rochester, New York.
Between the two of us today, we have over 60 years of experience at the highest levels of the test preparation and supplemental education industries.
We both love to talk and learn about the latest issues in education, testing, and admissions. So let's get down to tests and the rest. The fascinating topic we want to speak about today is ourselves. Welcome to another episode of EXTEMP with Amy and Mike.
Yay. It's so good to be here, Mike.
It is.
Because basically it really feels like it's been a while. The last time I saw you was in good old Nashville. And then with the holidays and the new year, it's sort of like the time just sort of dissipated, and here we are.
I know,
talking
it's
about
still,
the new
recording this
year
on the 13th, and it still feels like New Year's. I mean, I know that there's a cutoff, like you can't wish people Happy New Year's, but Happy New Year's.
I thought the new year actually in my world used to be like the BCS Bowl, that once you got past college football, then you were really in the new year.
Okay.
However, now, I mean, again, my limited sports knowledge, but now it seems like because it's going later, the new year just keeps taking longer to come because of college football not being over.
Absolutely, right? And it's just lingering. And, I feel like everybody has this extended holiday season where the holidays start 2 weeks before Christmas or Hanukkah and extend 2 weeks after New Year's. And
in test prep, it kind of does, because we all know that sort of with the ACT in December, we get a little bit of a respite until really right after the kids get back in school, when then it goes like whole hog. But before we get into the new year, though, let's talk a little bit about how were your holidays, Mike?
My holidays were lovely. So we've discussed that neither of my kids live at home anymore. My son lives in Colorado Springs. My daughter is at college at University of Vermont. So she came back and she was with us for the holidays, but Mason didn't come back until until January 5th. So we actually had our family Christmas, or our family gift exchange, on January 6th, the Three Kings Day. And it was really nice. It was so the holidays were completely chill. We had our typical, I like to have bagels and lox on Christmas Eve. That's from a family tradition, and just, it was really enjoyable and relaxing. How about yourself?
Yeah, really. It was it felt smooth. I think the nice thing is your kids get older, at least for me, even though I have obviously 4 adult kids at this point, but it was just nice. There's something, I mean, for us, the older kids, everyone were like, who's bringing what and what are they making? And I've got my son Jack, who has become this phenomenal baker.
Oh, that's great.
He made pretzel rolls and rolls. The pretzel rolls were unbelievable. But then Ben shows up. So Jack makes the rolls. Ben wants to make a lasagna. So Ben makes a lasagna, and it was delicious.
Oh, how great for you. Everybody's
so
cooking
it
for
was
you now?
Cool. Yeah, I mean, no, seriously. So but it's nice to have your kids all chipping in and wanting to do the things that they like or enjoy doing. So it was a really great holiday. And I usually end the holiday. So this is the way I kind of feel like my holiday ends. And that is, I make soup. So we usually have a ham around the holidays. I buy a lot of cheese. We'll do cheese and crackers and whatever. So I have this ham and potato and cheese soup. I always make that. Essentially, I'm trying to get rid of everything. So I'm cutting up the remaining ham. I'm cutting up the cheese. So whatever goes in the cheese, it's like a mix of whatever I got left over. So we had our ham and cheese night. And then Jack showed up with this ridiculously good sourdough bread.
That's great.
So that was sort of me feeling like, okay. Now, the other thing I will admit guiltily is I still have 2 Christmas trees that I have not put down. I've got to do that this weekend.
I mean, we didn't have Christmas until January 6th, and our tree is already down.
No, it's taken those damn ornaments off, Mike. So,
I know.
Yes. So that's my final. When the trees are gone, I know Christmas is truly, truly over. So, yeah. But it was a great holiday.
And how have you used the holiday festivity to buoy you into the new year? What's propelled you into 2025?
So I did. Well, you know this. I've rearranged my sort of desk setup, And so one of the cool things now is I got myself for the Christmas, like I bought myself a Christmas present. I have a standing desk, Mike.
Yeah,
I
that's
have,
great.
it can raise or
Have you been
lower.
standing
Uh,
though?
what do you think,
Yeah,
Mike?
I don't think you have, right? That's why.
Mike, you know me too well. So you are correct, sir. And so ironically, I'm like, okay, by January 31st, I have to start
That's
standing.
that's the resolution, right?
I'm like, but I want to sit. But yeah, so I have a standing goal for February 2025.
So
So
to
you'll have
be
to check
fair,
in
I
on that,
totally understand, and a lot of people say the desk where you can raise and lower your workstation
which is what I have.
is not as flexible. What I have is I have two different setups on my desk. I have one sitting
Oh,
setup, and then I like made a stand for my laptop. So I use a desktop sitting,
oh,
and I
sure.
have a stand for my laptop. So when I stand, I just move over, and I kind of used um, paper organizers. You can picture those
Oh,
plastic
right,
paper
sure.
trays, and it's perfect for my laptop.
See, it's funny. We were talking earlier about seeing a lot of our friends who are on Zoom that we see that way and what their setup
Yeah.
is. But it's fun to actually be able to go behind the curtain and see like what is the surrounding. So I've never seen your real
Oh, okay.
surround
So
of what it
one
looks
day,
like
what we're gonna have to
around
do
Mike
is
Bergen.
we'll take pictures of our setups and we'll share them. And I don't know that I want to share my setup with the public because you'll see, just like pre-COVID, how messy my background was. Now all the mess
Like
is in
naked
front of me.
Mike. Right? No, actually, that is something I've watched the evolution, right,
Yes.
of your backdrop, right? Exactly. Yeah, which is kind of funny that we've known each other now. Well, we've known each other actually, what, really technically since 2017.
Yeah, like
But in
eight
terms of the
years.
podcast, but
Well,
the amount of years you and I have been doing a lot of stuff
yeah.
together, yeah, like it's going on a lot of years at this point,
That's
right?
right. And
Exactly.
definitely we've seen an evolution. I mean, you've just moved to different places and you're
Yeah,
always at a different desktop. You've just got a lot of workstations all over the place. I've got
true.
one spot. I like
Yeah.
that. I like to have one
Which,
spot, but I have to learn. I have to learn to do things like record podcasts and take video meetings at different locations. That's something I've been hesitant to do, and it's
mhm.
something I'm going to embrace. Maybe this is maybe one of my mantras for this year.
Oh, wait. So, okay. So let's talk about this. So we were talking earlier that in a lot of spaces this year, I've been hearing people talking about you have to pick a word for 2025. Like, what is your word? And I kind of like that idea because it's not so much a resolution
Hmm.
as much as maybe how you might want to define sort of your year and maybe everything you do might come back to your think about it. So I'm wondering, Mike, if you were to think about what's one word that you might want to be your word for 2025, what would your word be?
I think my word is going to be execution or execute
Ooh,
because I
ah,
spent the last year reevaluating and considering my portfolio and what was important. And I had a bunch of elements that I was trying to integrate to understand. I knew that everything connected, but I didn't exactly get how. And it's
mm-hmm,
only been over the last month or so that kind of came together. A couple of ideas came to me where I connected some dots that weren't weren't evident at first. And now I
mm-hmm.
feel so energized and clear about just what my next step should be. I'm hoping to be able to maintain that because I think that there were some times in the last year where I wasn't getting done what I should be getting done because I wasn't clear about what I had needed to do.
That's so funny because I think of you as being someone who is actually really an executor, but maybe, you know why?
Why?
By comparison,
No, that's not
you
true. Hey,
are more
listen,
of an executor than me, I
you get
think.
plenty done, Amy. And I'm not saying that
I know,
I don't get some things done, but
but that's
I'm talking about some big stuff that
okay.
just, I, you know this feeling that you're doing things, but it feels more in response. You're doing
Yeah, I sure.
short-term tasks, and you're taking care of what needs to be taken care of immediately. But there's always that sense that you want to work towards something longer term and
Hmm.
systemic. This goes back to, our batteries, our HABs, that, I'm a systems person. And so like systemically, how do I connect all the things that I'm doing? How do I connect chariot learning to roots to words, to tests and the
Mm-hmm.
rest, to
Mm-hmm.
test brain. Like, how do they all nest and support each other? And I feel like I've made a couple of steps in my mind, at least in that direction.
It's funny that you're saying that because I haven't felt that or thought that so much before, but I can understand with you because you have a lot of projects, a lot of things that you've been working on over the last couple of years. I can now appreciate that because I do think that's a lot of with Leap and
That's
Sealy
right.
Test Pros.
You've set yourself
It's
up for
been
that.
trying to figure out what is this natural, and even like material wise. Right now, I'm designing a new folder, and I'm like, well, I should have it be both. So and then you're trying to understand what's the synergy amongst these things, right?
Exactly.
So
That's
I understand
exactly
what you're
right.
saying. And leveraging everything about all of them at the same time, which that's a lot mentally. Don't you think it's a lot to try to
It,
figure out because you feel like there's always things to connect and you're worried you're not connecting enough
it's a
things,
ton
right?
to manage mentally, and there's always the potential that you're leaving something unexploited, right? There's leverage that you're not exerting. And I hate the fact that sometimes we don't learn when we want to learn. We don't know it when we want to know it. It takes time to recognize it. I just like I'll give an example of something that hit me when we talk about my newest Substack. I'll be like
Hmm.
this is something that I've been pondering for years, and finally it hit me, and I jumped to it. But just more like so execute, and I'll talk about when we talk about like what we're doing in the short term. I've already started executing something very big, and I'm excited about it. But what's your word? I know you have a word, and I want to hear it.
So I kind of grappled with it, but it came to me. The word is strength.
Oh yeah, good.
Now, it's funny when you pick a word because obviously like that can mean different things. Um and to be fair, I'll lead with most of when I say that strength is this desire for actually physical strength. Like I literally, like quite literally, and because you've been in places when we went to Yosemite where it's like I want to feel that feeling in your body
Yeah.
when you feel like physically and it feel like I can imagine it as I say it, but just that I can tackle things. I can climb mountains. That's my
That's
thing, like
right.
climbing
That's right.
mountains. And so a lot of it is the literal like it's not about losing weight. It's about being able to lift something and
Yes.
or to be able to have endurance. So this idea of building strength and it is primarily a physical thing that I'm referring to. But at the same time, on the flip side, it is about like strength and just discipline,
Hmm.
commitment
Well, you
that
don't
you
get the
have to
physical
develop.
strength without commitment and habit and, strength. And I'd recommend also flexibility, really important. And when you have it, it's a tactile expression of what you want to feel internally. You want to feel strong mentally. You want to feel resilient. And it's hard to feel mentally and emotionally resilient when your body takes days to recover from the mildest exertion.
Right.
It's,
And the thing I think too is, and you'll appreciate this just from an education perspective, we talk about SMART goals, right? And like the
yeah,
acronym. And I was like, actually, with strength, that's pretty simple. You can be specific, it can be measurable, you can make it time bound, like all of those things where I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool to have something that is so tangible.
so
Like,
wait, are,
so
are
for
you
example, this
telling
idea
me,
of like,
Amy, that you have your physical fitness SMART goals already set up?
so they're not, I have not been clear with myself what they are. But no, okay, so Mike, I have to go down. I have to go down to this gym that's like in my building. Like there is one. There's everything there.
Right.
And I have to go down there and go, okay, like almost like measure like a testing situation. What can you lift? Like what can you do? How long? But what I like about strength in this sense is there's so much you can measure to begin. There can be a baseline. You could only, lift this much weight. You could only do this for so long. There's so much you can start with a measurement for, much like in testing. We
Sure.
know where you started. Here's where your number, what you could do. And I think there's something about that that's appealing as well, because I know you can say, here's what I can lift now. Here's how far I can run or, whatever
Totally.
now. And
You
so
could get a physical trainer to just help you set up the
so
plan
no, 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 no.
and then
So
step
here's the
away.
thing. Exactly. And so that's the one thing that you and I both know in the world that we operate. that the best thing to do when you know there's something you want to do is refer to an expert. Have an expert get involved, help you do that, kind of have a coach keep you along. And then once you feel like you understand how to do it on your own. So that's where I'm at. I'm at the phase of like, okay, like now I know, I think, because I thought about this week about getting someone, like just do it. Just get someone to tell you to help you to do it. So that's where I'm at the phase of getting a trainer. Yeah, so that's kind of
That's
so
awesome.
you'll have to check in on me
I'm proud of you,
periodically,
Amy.
or at the end of the year at
It's going to
least.
be
But
great when we
the
go on
nice
our
part is,
next mountain climbing trip.
well, I mean, you remember in Philly the first time where you got to sort of experience firsthand Amy's physical limitations, pulling pulling suitcases down a street in Philly. Like, he is way faster than I am.
I know, but I mean, it was wrong of me to move as quickly as I did. Also,
Well, see, these are the things now you know about
I'm a
me.
fast
So it's
walker.
like, okay. And you are a fast walker.
I am.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So talking about fast and walking and going places,
But
you
yeah, I
got to
got a
tell
big
me
trip coming.
where are you headed next, Mike?
So, last fall,
Hmm.
I took a trip to Peru, Arequipa, Peru, to visit our friend Jim
Hmm.
Wismer,
Yep,
who was
exactly.
there.
I was so jealous
Oh,
too that
I
you did
know.
that.
And you had every reason to be because it was an amazing
Except for
adventure.
the mountain
Talk about
stuff when I
mountain
realized,
climbing. We got to
no, when I realized I could not have kept up. I
the
learned in Yosemite I could
highest
not have kept up
level. We
with
were
you.
like at 16,000 feet. We were so
Yeah.
high. And then we went all the way to sea level. In the space of a couple of days, it was just
Yeah.
brilliant. So this
Yeah.
time he is spending a month in Mexico City, and when he told me that, I was like, I'm definitely joining you. And
It's getting
so
jealous.
we figured out the date, and then our friend Michael Jordan heard, and he was like, I love Mexico City. I was just there. Let's do it. So he's coming. So the three of us, it's a short
The
trip.
three
The
amigos.
three amigos, yeah. That's we're gonna get some sombreros. We're gonna no, we are going to we got all kinds of things. I set up a little birding tour for the three of us. They've picked out MJ has made some reservations as he
Of
famously
course.
does for food. We've got lots to do in a short period of time.
Well, what I love about that, and see, here's what I've learned is that now there's so many of you guys now that I love traveling
Yeah.
with because I know what you'll do for me. So, for example, that's what I know about you. You will set out an itinerary, you'll find
Yeah.
what we're supposed to do. MJ for sure is about the food.
That's right.
Um, but yeah, so that trip sounds really amazing,
So I think
actually.
it's
Yeah. What's the
important that people
temperature?
know
What's the
this.
temperature there
Wait,
this
wait,
time
hold
of
on.
year?
That people know that test prep professionals, at least the ones that Amy and I associate with, are awesome to travel with. They're fantastic, right? We just have a
100%.
lot of people that we can encounter all over the world, and the conversation always flows. People are doing really interesting things, and as you said, like everybody's got something that they contribute to the action. It's
Actually,
not common, I think,
wait,
in every industry that that's the case.
but I have to ask this question. So you said that, and I'm going to include myself in what you said is the people that are great to travel with, because obviously you and I do travel.
Yeah.
But now it begs the question, Mike,
What?
what is great about traveling with Amy or not so great?
Oh, Amy's great to travel with. She's hilarious.
I'm right, yeah, I'm just like good for a barrel of laughs. Um, so trip wise,
Yeah.
funny story. So I will be heading off on a trip soon with test prep friends as well.
Uh-huh.
There is a carryover from your travels to mine. That would be the link that connects us will be Michael Jordan,
Okay,
right?
good.
So
Oh,
I'm
that's right.
headed.
That's right.
I am headed to. I've never
Yeah.
been. I've never spent time in Denver or Colorado. So I will be going in a few weeks, off to Steamboat. So I will be Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
Scott Greenspan,
Yeah.
Pranoy, and his lovely wife Hannah.
Scott Greenspan loves Steamboat.
Well, I will not be skiing, Mike. I just want to be
I was going
clear.
to
There'll be
ask that.
no
That question was
skiing.
coming. Are you going to be skiing?
No.
No.
But I'm just
Are you
really,
sure?
again,
Are you sure
no,
you're
I'm
not going
not
to be
going
skiing? Even like bunny slope beginners, like right
to. So
now
I've
they don't
thought
have a
about
lot of
that, but
snow.
I'm going to be really honest with you. And that is, I think of myself as being at a certain age. I do have, and I'm not a fearful person or anxious person, I don't think, but being sort of a business owner
Yeah.
with a lot of responsibility, I do have a fear of hurting myself in such a way that like, what would I do? Now,
That's
obviously, I can still
totally
tutor on
prudent.
Zoom, but it is the thing. Like, I will do things to stretch my limitations, but I do feel like, wow, I just couldn't imagine make dumb Amy got on skis and Steamboat, and they're like shipping her back to Cleveland, and she's like all, whatever. I got no time for that. So,
Yeah.
but you and I will have a different experience. And obviously, I will be mountains, snow, elevation, right? Remember, Mike, I don't have experience with elevation. So this will be interesting
This
to see.
will be interesting.
Remember?
You have experience with some
A little bit with
elevation, but
Yosemite.
right, not how high is
Yeah.
Steamboat?
I don't know. I
Well,
have to
you're going to
check.
be
I
up
have no
like
idea.
6,000, eight
It's I'm
thousand,
gonna be
something
I mean
like
I'm gonna
that.
be up. It'll be interesting to see. But um yeah, but I'm excited for your trip.
I'm
I'm
excited for
excited for my
yours.
trip.
It's really, and it's so hard to get away right now because I used the break. I used the holiday break to not rest. I felt like I had rested a bit and I was eager to do stuff. And one of the ideas that came to me when we talk about execute, I started executing early before 2025 hit.
Mhm.
And I started to put together a book. And I think I mentioned this to you. I'm very far into, maybe
Oh my God, that's
80%
awesome.
finished with a
That's
book.
amazing.
But there are things that need to be done still. There's pagination, there's editing, there's exercises. This is going to be a vocabulary book of one of many I hope to release. I gotta get the cover art together. Like there's still steps that have to take place.
Hmm.
But so much of it is already ready, and it was
That's
very
awesome.
exciting to be motivated. I just spent so much time putting it together and feeling excited about the work.
So tell me more about the book. What's in the book? What are you writing about, or is this
I'm
a
gonna hold
secret or a
off until
surprise?
it's in a better place, and then when I can
Oh,
really
okay.
announce it,
Can
because
you tell me if it's fiction or
oh, it's not
nonfiction?
fiction. It's all reference. It's
Okay,
it's a
I
roots to
figured.
words book. It is.
Okay,
It's
okay,
yeah.
gotcha. Okay,
That's
good,
I'm very
good.
self-indulgent when it
That
comes to
that's on
books.
brand.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, are you writing romance novels now?
Romantasy.
Romance,
One of the
exactly. Well,
2024 words of the year.
I mean, there was a roots to words about romanticy of
That's
late,
it.
so I just saw that.
People are
Yeah,
into that
yeah.
stuff.
Now,
Go ahead.
tell us more though about in terms of writing. So tell us more about what's your newest Substack. What's going on there with Substack?
This is so again, like you think about trying to put puzzle pieces in place. And with Substack, we have been exploring together for years. I started testing Substack, and then at a certain point, I said, we need to move the Test and the Rest newsletter to Substack. The Test and the Rest newsletter
Right.
was kind of static when it was just a mailing list. And then we moved it to Substack and it started to grow. And it became
Hmm.
something that it drew more readers. It felt more vibrant. I just love Substack. And then
Like coming to life.
yeah, and when I created Roots to Words back in the day, like over a decade ago, I created Roots Towards a standalone website. And even though I
Hmm.
did a lot of work with the website, it was really hard to find growth. Once I got it into Substack and it was connected, with other people in the foreign language or English language learning or test prep sphere, Roots to Words subscribers can find Tests and the Rest. Tests and the Rest subscribers can find Roots to Words. I have the tutor
Sure.
newsletter, like it was just working. But I've been saying all along, but your parent newsletter for your test prep company, that can't be. You can't possibly make that a Substack. And then I started thinking about how little I use the capacity of MailChimp and how it's just like it wasn't as vibrant as I wanted it to be. I realized just let it out into the world. The information that we share with Chariot Learning families or people in our community, people that come to our events, people that just want to learn from what we share in that narrow channel, why, why can't that be broad? Why can't that be beneficial to everyone? So this
Hmm.
week, I had the idea last Friday, and I was like, oh my God, I got to do this. And I spent the whole weekend hammering it out, like creating a new icons and graphics and text and I'm starting to port things over. And I'm just so excited about the like bringing this newsletter just open. Anybody can join it now. You don't have to be
Like all the
working with Chariot
possibility.
Learning, but maybe you'll join it and you're like, oh yeah, I want to work with Chariot Learning.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. And well, anything you do like that, I'm always so intrigued because usually I get to take some of the nuggets or what some of the benefit of your work. So how does somebody, so the new Substack, is it launched?
It's
You've
launched.
launched
It's
it?
College Road. It's called the College Road Newsletter.
College Road. Okay.
I actually has its own URL, collegeroadnewsletter.com. I had to get the URL and I had
Oh,
to connect it.
oh, I love it.
Um,
College Road. Because, I do college presentations called Roadmap to
yeah,
College. So
no,
you're like College Road.
I've
I
been
love it.
publishing the College Road newsletter since 2011
Wait a second. I've never seen the College Road.
because it's been a mailing list that you have to subscribe
Oh,
to.
oh, well then I'm gonna
You're going to
subscribe.
subscribe to it. I mean, that's like, so this is like, it's always been things that I, share on a monthly or bi-weekly basis, things that students and parents of college-bound students need to know at any point in the process.
Awesome. Yeah.
Test deadlines, links and nuggets and information. I share tests and the rest stuff, like all of that. It's just your
Hmm.
regular, when our classes are coming up. We do enough
Sure.
online classes that we may as well have a broader, not just a geographically based newsletter. I hope to make it a really worthwhile resource in that in Substack, there aren't a lot of college resources, college admissions resources.
Interesting.
There really aren't. There's a
Wow.
couple of great test prep providers who
Hmm.
have started to share some information, which is very exciting. But I think we're at the ground level
Yeah.
of test prep Substack.
Well, I think too, we're just at this point where, unlike 5 years ago, right, pre-COVID, where the world seemed so much, which sounds silly, but it didn't the world seem much smaller pre-COVID? I mean, it was
Abs-
growing, expanding, but I feel like now the world feels almost limitless. Like
Yes,
there are no boundaries,
yes,
right? Like in terms of even the people you and I interact with, they're everywhere, they're around the world.
for sure.
Um, so and there's an audience for everything, I think anymore. There really is. There's an audience for so many things. It's just and finding what you're passionate about that you want to share about, which I think is awesome.
I think it
Yeah.
is exciting. So let's end with you sharing what you're most excited about right now.
What am I most excited about? Well, I'm excited that like unlike you, who you are a prolific writer. I'm just proud that Amy Seeley wrote a blog
That's
this
I'm
month, which
proud of
is
you.
and that's a goal. That's a goal. I have a writing goal. And by the way, Mike Bergen, I did not use Chat GPT for that blog.
That's
So you should be
good.
proud that that was all
That's
authentically Amy Seeley's voice there. So yeah, but I think well, for me it's about, the old working on your business rather than in your business. So a lot right now of that just constantly thinking about on it, which as you know, it can be mentally exhausting
hmm
because your brain is constantly like knowing that the more it thinks about it, but sometimes you got to take those breaks. So the good news is hopefully you'll get to take that break in Mexico City. Well, I might take sort of that break in Colorado, although it makes it a little harder when you're amongst other test prep people.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
don't know
you got to
about
give
break.
yourself.
I mean, we'll be talking about a lot of
We will.
again,
Yeah.
like traveling with your colleagues. It's, I like talking business. You like talking business. We're not going to not talk about it. The
But you get to
business of
do it in a fun
education,
context,
right?
right? But you get to do it in a fun context, which is really nice.
Exactly. All right,
Yeah.
listen, obviously we could talk about ourselves all day. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Thank you so much, Amy, for this time.
We hoped you enjoyed this discussion as much as we did. Be sure to join us for another fascinating topic and guest on the next Tests and the Rest.
Did you enjoy this episode as much as we did? Find expanded links and more for this and all of our episodes at our show page at testsandtherest.com. While you're there, be sure to explore everything the larger TestBright site has to offer, including real, expert, unbiased answers to the toughest admissions testing questions. Of course, we'd love for you to rate, review, and subscribe to Tests and the Rest on your favorite podcast platform. If there's a topic or guest you'd like us to feature, just let us know and spread the word.